Alright guys, SCUMP here back again today, and yesterday we got one of the most significant pieces of news we have got in a long time in Call of Duty. This is something which is, yes, we knew it was coming, right? We've known the NRG, the Chicago Rumors, with SCUMP for a long time, with Hector's involvement, of course, with NRG. But still, the announcement of OpTic SCUMP, which rolls off the tongue, right? Leaving OpTic Gaming is still something definitely worth discussing, and I wanted to dedicate the majority of this video to kind of a tribute for SCUMP, all the championships he's won with OpTic Gaming, all the things he has achieved, of course, and what he's done for Call of Duty as well, because this is a massively important moment, right, in Call of Duty history. So that's what we're going to talk about today for the majority of the video. To start with, of course, some Rostermania rumor stuff. We'll get through that, we'll go on to the SCUMP thing, and of course, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this below. We know where he's going, we probably know what team he's going to have alongside him. But still, in preparation for the franchise era, this is such a massive change. Something that I'm sure a couple of years ago, or maybe even a year ago or so, you guys, OpTic Gaming fans, would not have thought this kind of thing would ever happen, right? And I'm sure in the wider community as well, OpTic or SCUMP leaving OpTic, kind of the face of OpTic for so many years. Finally, that partnership coming to an end is something that's just an incredible bit of news. So we'll go into that today. Like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. Firstly, a couple of Rostermania things, as I mentioned. Saints, so Renato Forza says, I'm on one, I'm on a franchise team. Can't say anything yet though, so whether this is as a substitute position or what, would yet to be seen. But I believe Saints has got his whole passport thing sorted out, so he could travel abroad if the CDL is going to be traveling abroad. Pentagram has a team lined up for the upcoming season: Noobs, Vicious, Gunsy, and Zinx. And yeah, so just a little bit of a rumor here related to the Dallas team. Of course, Illyhook and Shotzi were playing a elite tournament yesterday, which they ended up winning. So thanks to the young JC for pointing that out to me. Parasite says the following: a few people added me in this substitute life. It is head down, I guess. So well, I mean, okay, Parasite being a substitute, if that is going to go ahead, fair enough. Not being on a starting roster, obviously disappointing for him, but at the same time, are you going to pick up Parasite as a substitute, given that, you know, no disrespect to Parasite, but just the type of player he is? If you pick up Parasite as a substitute, if you want to sub him into your main roster, he's going to be like an in-game leader type figure, which means you pretty much have to, like, uproot your entire roster and change the entire structure, bringing Parasite into a team. Maybe it's helpful to have that kind of in-game leadership figure on the bench that you can maybe swap out. But it's, and, you know, give him a go with the talented players that you have around it. That's possible, but still it's going to completely uproot your entire structure and your entire system when you change a player and put Parasite into your system, because it's going to change the whole attitude of which they want to play the game, because Parasite is that in-game leadership type figure, right? Which makes it difficult for me to want to put him as a substitute. It might be easier to put someone, I don't know, like T-Tiny or whatever as a substitute. You know he's a talented player, but you know he's not really going to mess with the structure. You can just swap him out and see if he's a better player than one of your individuals. So that's something to consider with that. Hopefully it all goes well for him though. Modern Warfare tournament series leading up to the new game. Hitch a Ride is trying to sort some Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare Remastered tournaments coming up to the new game. So you can look forward to this. I'll update you guys, of course, as things develop in this regard. Here's the tweet then from Scumpy. I never thought I'd say this again. So again, we'll go into exactly what that means in a second, because maybe you guys aren't aware that he did leave OpTic in the past, several years ago now though. But as of today, I'm no longer a part of OpTic. As much as I love the logo and what it stood for, the honour was playing for my teammates and the green wall. I can't wait for the new league, the new CoD era, and my new chapter. Hashtag CoD is live, which is one of SCUMP's famous hashtags. And yeah, this is the tweet. 10,000 retweets, 63,000 likes. Like, what a massive deal this is, of course. And yeah, as he says, the reason why he's leaving, a lot of it is because the green wall has ceased to exist kind of with the current OpTic. OpTic is a shell of its former self. If you guys aren't fully aware of exactly what the situation is, OpTic, Hector sold a majority share to Infinite Esports a couple of years ago, and then it really went downhill from there. A lot of the corporate stuff came in, and recently it's been resold again to Immortals. And a lot of the OpTic guys and the things that made OpTic that kind of family feel that it was in the past, that all the great content came out of, that's basically disappeared. So as he says, it's kind of a shell of its former self, and a lot of the green wall has moved over to NRG, NR Green Wall, or however you want to pronounce it. I'm sure a lot of you guys are in that boat, right? And probably very few of you old OpTic fans are still consider yourself OpTic fans, because the name OpTic does not mean what it once was, and they're going to be probably like the biggest villains this season, which is honestly crazy to think about, but so many storylines coming around the corner. So here we go then. Back in January 2014, SCUMP left OpTic Gaming to join Envy very, very briefly for like only a couple of weeks. There was so many roster changes going around here. There was friction between Nation and SCUMP. It was an interesting time. And then OpTic Gaming basically uprooted their entire roster to make sure SCUMP could come back into the team. And he's been there ever since. So all the way back since 2012, joining OpTic Gaming. Like, if it wasn't for SCUMP, I may not have ever got into Call of Duty competitive, because watching his YouTube videos back in the Black Ops 2 days was just absolute class. And then from there, I started to get into competitive. Maybe fell out of love with the competitive a little bit during the Advanced Warfare days, but have been solely, solidly back in the game since then, right? And yeah, SCUMP was a huge part of that, and I'm sure he's been a huge part of a lot of your guys' progressions and your interest in competitive Call of Duty. Just a quick note, really, before we go on to all his championship victories here. I was reading a Reddit comment or a Reddit thread probably a few weeks ago now, and the title of it was, "Who's the most talented player across all iterations of Call of Duty?" And every single comment, I had to scroll down so far to find a comment that didn't say SCUMP. SCUMP. The only like comments I could find otherwise were people were like joking around with McWilliam and stuff like this, right? And it made me think about who's the best player of all time. When we think of best player of all time, I think, the three big names come to mind: Crimsix, Karma, and SCUMP. But in my opinion, now it's got to be a two-horse race between Crimsix and SCUMP, in my opinion. Because you've got to bring talent into the fray, right? I think Crimsix is an incredibly talented player, as is Karma, and there's a reason why he's in the top 3 of a lot of people's all-time list. But look, in terms of championships, in terms of versatility, I think Crimsix is obviously right up there. But SCUMP, especially when we consider the talent that he's brought to the table over so many years, been such a consistently incredible player, like the best player in Advanced Warfare, best player in Black Ops 3, possibly on the whole. And even Infinite Warfare and other games, he was a really solid and fantastic, at times, SMG player. So difficult to be in that role, and the kind of performances he was putting up in some of these games, truly mind-boggling stuff, right? And that's a lot of reasons why people consider him the most talented player of all time. And it's honestly no surprise. Now, I was looking through that thread thinking, how can we say he's not the best player of all time when every single player here is saying he's the most talented? Yes, he doesn't have the most championship wins compared to Crimsix, but yeah, I'll probably do a video at some point looking at the top 10 best players of all time going into the franchise era. Maybe I'll do it in a month, maybe I'll do it in 2 months, who knows. But I'll have to make a decision then whether I'm going to put SCUMP top or SCUMP seconds, because in my opinion, it's a two-horse race between those two guys now. Yes, Karma has the 3 World Championship rings, but outside of that, I don't think his resume is as impressive on the broader spectrum as Crimsix and SCUMP's. And yeah, SCUMP just unbelievable. And Lando says here, a great tweet from him: the end of an era, 20 plus major championships, the World Championship winner, X Games gold medalist, of course, 7+ years in OpTic Gaming, done all sorts of stuff for them, the house that SCUMP helped build. Let's have a look through his team history then. So Team Fear, Team Obey, Leverage, Quantic Leverage, when he first teamed up with Aches, if you guys can believe that, way back in the day. Then he was picked up onto OpTic Gaming, had a little bit of a stint elsewhere, was kind of an OpTic for a little bit, then he came back into OpTic fully, Team Envious for about 2 weeks, and then still on OpTic, the face of this team for so many years. So here we go then, let's run through some of these championship victories. All the way back in the Black Ops 1 days on Quantic Leverage, he won 3 events, Dallas, Anaheim, and the National Championship 2011, whatever that is, with like John, and I don't even know if there was any prize money there. Probably a bit of fun. Anyway, the OpTic Gaming days kind of started end of Modern Warfare 3, EGL 7, Blackpool, Merk, Big T, SCUMP, and Rambo. Like, this is how long SCUMP's been around, the fact that he was playing with these kind of players. Rambo's like since retired, left the scene, gone and like won regional championships in bowling or something. Then he's potentially coming back to coach this season. Merk, of course, went through to Black Ops 3, retired, now he's one of the premier casters. Big Time has done all of his own sort of things. He's started his own like trading organization. And SCUMP, as the rock solid, is still here, of course, just leaving OpTic Gaming only now. EGL8 Manchester, they ended up losing. This is the one where they lost to the European guys, Josh and that, or the famous victory. Then Black Ops 2, Chicago 2012, Nadeshot comes into the team. They have a hell of a stint during the Black Ops 2 season. This goes up to the end of Black Ops 2. The World Championship didn't quite work out for them in the end. Then we go on to the Ghost season, of course, and yeah, this is when they win the X Games Invitational. This is the whole thing where he went on to Envy at the start of the 2014 season in kind of the January time. And this is where they uprooted the entire roster, right? We had big time of SCUMP, Nadeshot and Ricky, and Nadeshot stayed, but they brought in Clayster and Embos instead, and then they switched him out for Proofy, going into the X Games Invitational with that famous championship victory they won there, which I'm sure a lot of you OGs may remember. They stuck that roster out to the end of the season, but didn't have quite the success that they did have at the X Games. Then going into the Advanced Warfare season, let's just probably make this a little bit bigger, hopefully that's okay. That should do, maybe we'll just make it one bit smaller. This is where OpTic Gaming just took off in terms of competitive play. Formal came into the team off that Envy squad. Crimsix came into the team from Evil Geniuses, and it just went nuts. Enable was in the team for a couple of events over at ESWC when Pomage was coaching. That's a little bit of history for you guys there. And yeah, victory, 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 victory. Unbelievable stuff through the, these are all LAN events, by the way, through the 2015 season in Advanced Warfare. Then into Black Ops 3, had a little bit of a rocky start at South Carolina, but since then, OpTic Gaming turned it around and won many events in a row. This is, of course, the dynasty that you guys will all remember with former Crimsix and Karma. SCUMP, of course, has been the rock-solid player throughout the entirety of OpTic history. And then, of course, moving on to Infinite Warfare, they continued their success, had a rough couple of first tournaments, but having come second at Atlanta, they then turned it around against that famous United squad, coming out victors at Dallas and Paris. Had a little bit of a blip in the middle of the season, but that was just in time to bring it back for Stage 2 playoffs and champs. Still the dynasty roster. And then, of course, World War II didn't have so much success. And then the Black Ops 4 season, of course, having won the Las Vegas Open, their team kind of fell off towards the end of the season. But these things happen. SCUMP, of course, now is going to be back on, at least rumoured to be, back on this Chicago team with SCUMP, Formal, Reunited, Arcetes, Gunless, and Envoy. That is the rumours at the current time. Hector, of course, involved over there as well as the co-CEO now of that organisation. So truly remarkable stuff. That's SCUMP's tenure throughout Call of Duty history, and an incredible amount that he has achieved. And yeah, this is his parting ways tweet with OpTic Gaming. So hopefully this was a good video for you guys and kind of summed up the whole OpTic Gaming situation and what SCUMP has done for Call of Duty. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel like he was obviously a founding father, but at the same time, one of the best players of all time. So he really has it all, and you know, look forward to seeing how he can do on this future team in Chicago, most likely. Wonder when the announcement will be. Maybe it'll be later today, and I'll have missed it, and maybe it'll be a couple of weeks in the future. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you are new as always. Feel free to leave all your thoughts down below on this incredible career, which is still continuing, of course. This isn't like a retirement video or anything. This is just a parting of ways, right? He still has OpTic in his Twitter app for now, which will be the final little glimpse of the past, right? So anyway, thanks for watching as always. I'll see you next time.